Whoa now, whoa now, whoa now. Welcome back to the Black Album, your boy, Brother Kush. Look, before you get triggered by the thumbnail, I need you to listen to the whole video. Because see, now it's time for me to explain a concept that I've been working on for like 20 years that will help turn our situation around. But before we can turn our situation around, each of us have to turn our individual situations around. See, y'all so caught up on community and collective that y'all don't realize that any whole is the sum total of its individual parts. In other words, a whole thing is only as strong, only as good as the individual parts that make it up. That's like the saying about a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. But it's the same thing, right? When you're dealing with a whole, you got to look at the individual parts in that whole. Now, some parts are vital. Some parts just can't be just taken out and left out. You know what I'm saying? The machine won't work without it. And some parts the machine don't need. Some parts are redundant. Some parts are superfluous. You know what I'm saying? It just is not needed. So our job right now as individuals is to figure out which parts we need going forward to rebuild a actual community. And when speaking of a community, you have to also understand that a community is your physical location. It's not something you live vicariously through. You know, we got too many dudes that grew up in suburbs and in majority white areas that get online every day, all day, and talk about what black people need to do in the black community, in the black community. You've never lived in a black community. You have no idea what it takes to build a black community. You've never seen a black community. But I have. I grew up in a black community. I grew up where there were no whites. There were no whites in our schools. There were no whites in our neighborhoods. You literally had to go to where they lived or their part of the city to see them. Otherwise, you just didn't see them. And I know how the black community was. I grew up in a hood, but my hood had parks with pools, with basketball courts, with tennis courts. Yes, I'm from the ghetto. Tennis courts, baseball diamonds. You know what I'm saying? We had everything we needed in the hood because the hood used to be a community. The reason why the hood is not a community today is because nobody wants to make it a community. Everybody's main goal is to get away from black folks. And then as you get pushed back on when you get outside the neighborhood, outside the actual physical community, you come back online and you talk crap about your own people. But you're the one that ran from it. Now, yes, you're going to make the argument about the crime inside the inner city. I get that. And nobody's going to argue with you about how dangerous some of these cities are and how wild and stupid some of these young, what y'all call pookies and ray rays are. They seem to not have a code. They victimize people, something that my generation didn't do. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's going to argue that it's not different. But at the same time, what's stopping us from moving somewhere else and reestablishing community? Because I've also lived in suburbs. In the suburbs, that's when I first started seeing an environment where people didn't even speak to their own neighbors, where you didn't even know the name of the person living next door to you. That's the first time I seen that. Because in a community, you know the names of every parent and children on your block. In a community, you know the names of the parents and children on the next block that way, on the next block that way, on the next block over that way. The parents knew most of the kids because most of the kids were seen playing at one point or another together. So the parents got to know the children. That's when you are in a community. But when I was in the suburbs, the children didn't even come outside. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. Everybody's inside in front of video games, and stuff like this here. So y'all don't know what a community is. Because we've never tried to establish community with our own. And that's part of the problem. We don't really want community among blacks. We want community among whites. And that's part of the problem. So hear me out as I try to lay this argument down. I'm gonna try to do it right. Just hear me out. Everything I'm about to say, you already know it to be true. You are a slave. You are a slave to money, to social economics, to status, to politics, to ideology. You have sold your soul to have a place in a world order that you should naturally oppose. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon to receive notification when I drop more videos. If you don't hit the bell icon, YouTube will not notify when I drop videos because I don't trigger the algorithm. Also, you want to support the channel, you see the various ways you can support the channel, but the best way to support it right now is to subscribe, hit the bell icon, hit a thumb up or a thumb down, you know, or go to the comment section and drop a little thumb up emoji or a thumb down emoji in the comment section. You know, these are the best ways to help the channel. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to always agree. You know, say you don't agree. You know, drop that in the comment section. So that's the best way to support the channel right now. So let me get started. The truth of the matter is, bruh, you gotta be your own person. I know I've been saying this in the last few videos because this is really my message. This is my message to black men. To be selfish. I don't mean selfish in a way where you cutting somebody's throat, you know what I'm saying? Because you shouldn't be ambitious like that. Nobody should be in your way of getting anything that you want. Because you should not want anything other than peace and harmony and stuff like that, right? When it comes to you as a person, as an individual, you owe it to yourself to do only that which is best for yourself. You owe it to yourself to move in ways that's best for you, not against anybody. Don't move against anybody, but move for you. And if moving for you, right, includes me, you know, hooking up with me, then that's what you do. If the betterment of your cause, your goals, you know, require you to link up with these dudes over here or a few brothers here, a few sisters there, you do that. And as that grows, that becomes your new community. See, we've lost the idea of how to really establish community. We think that community is just something that we are part of just by virtue of skin color. And it's not. Being black don't make you a part of the black community because the black community itself doesn't exist anymore. The physical black community almost in every city is in shambles. It's in shambles. And instead of us rebuilding or gentrifying like the white folks do, move somewhere else and reestablish it. Okay, you say that it's ran over with Shaniquas and all they 5, 10, 12 baby kids, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be around there. Fine. How about go somewhere else and reestablish community there? But you don't do that, do you? You move to the suburbs and you get bougie. You get a house, you don't speak to your neighbors. You don't talk to nobody. Or you do the unthinkable. You move in a different environment and you start trying to bring all these ghetto niggas up there to have block parties and throwing trash everywhere. See, when I grew up in community, it was nice. Like I've said before, we had pools. We had parks. The parks had basketball goals, tennis courts, baseball diamonds, football fields. And we had several of them just in my neighborhood or my area. I'm from the lower Ninth Ward in New Orleans, and in my area, we had several parks like this. I had access to 2 pools within walking distance, you know what I'm saying, of my house. Growing up, basketball courts within walking distance, tennis courts within walking distance, fields that we can play on within walking distance, all type of little playground type stuff, monkey ball type stuff within walking distance. This was all in the hood. And if you didn't want to play on your parks closest to you, all you had to do is keep walking in any direction. You was going to run across another park in another neighborhood. And everybody played, everybody knew each other, Everybody at least knew of each other, because that's what community is. You know, me and my wife was talking, I was explaining to her that, you know, you take something like the Lower Nine, right? Like I grew up. Let's say when one of our parents died, right? When our parents died, man, I mean, the whole Ninth Ward, the whole Lower Nine show up. Because we have long roots down there. 9 times out of 10, our parents went to school together. The kids all went to school together, or played sports together, or did something together, or ran across each other in the streets. If we wasn't friends, we knew of each other. We knew somebody that knew that person. Or we knew somebody that knew somebody that knew that person. It was we all interconnected by just degrees, because that's what a community is. Can we honestly say right now that we have a black community? No, we can't. We can't. Can we honestly right now claim that we are a part of anything as black people? No, we can't. This is why we try so hard to assimilate into white society, because that's part of the goal. That's always been the goal. See, we don't want black community. We want to be in the white community. So I'm tired of y'all coming at me sideways, talking about black this, black that, black this, when y'all know damn well most of y'all don't have nothing to do with black people. Y'all do that because y'all feel trapped. And this is why you are so angry and bitter and toxic all the time, because you feel like you're being forced to belong to people that you don't want to belong to. Black people. You feel like you are forced to have to claim kinship to people that you don't feel kinship towards. Africans. You know, you feel like you're being forced to do everything. You're being forced to be something that you don't feel like you want to be. And nobody should be forced to do that. We all should be free to go our own way and do our own thing. And this freedom must be not only started by men, implemented by men, it must be maintained and safeguarded by men. So the real men, the real black men, I'm telling you right now, it's time for you to go your own way. It's time for you to be selfish. Become an individual. And along the way, you'll find your natural allies. And as you find your natural allies, y'all will create a new type of community. Community don't necessarily mean y'all gotta hang out together and be friends together. It's not that. But y'all need to be sociable. Y'all need to be able to talk to each other. Y'all need to be at least be there if the other needs something that doesn't require them to, like, you know, put themselves in any type of financial stress or physical danger. You need to be there. And as the bonds grow, then you will have somebody that will put themselves in financial stress over you, or will put themselves in physical danger to help you out. But these bonds have to grow. They take time to grow. But we want people to have this sense of duty and obligation by virtue of race, and we're not gonna ever have that. We're never gonna feel that way, because that time is gone. We've destroyed the true black community. We had it one time. We destroyed it. And the whole time we've had these leaders out front telling us all this stuff, yapping, talking all good, you know, talking all this pro-black positive talk, and the entire time the community has been going down to the point where it no longer exists now. I'm sorry, but who represents our whole? Can I honestly look in this camera and say that any of the so-called leaders or current popular black ideologies or thinking boxes represent me? I can't. I can't. I can't. First of all, we're not diverse enough. We don't like diversity. And I don't mean diversity in terms of who you date or what you do. I mean just diversity, period. We don't like diversity. So our community talk is more like a prison to keep us stuck in one place mentally. Keep us stuck somewhere. That seems to be the only goal of it. To stop you from venturing out. That seems to be the goal of it.